Rosie, you can't get more Australian than an Anzac biscuit slice. A lovely layer of Anzac biscuit on the bottom, caramel in between, and on the top of it, I'm going to put some chocolate that's going to be delicious. Now, there's a few stages, and it does take a little bit of time to do. And what you want to do is probably prepare it the day before, and then you can put it into the fridge overnight to let it set, and then just hack into it and just chow it down with a cup of tea. Now, what I'm going to do to start with is I'm going to make the biscuit base, but I'm going to get you busy as well.
All right.
What I've got here is condensed milk. And what I've done with the condensed milk is popped it into a pot of water and let it simmer away, and you just got to keep topping it up with water. It takes 3 to 4 hours until it becomes nice and sticky and caramelly. It's beautiful like this. What I want you to do, Rosie, is to scrape the two of them out, and there's a packet of 250 grams of butter.
Got the good jobs, didn't I?
Yeah, pop that into the bowl, and what I want you to do is whisk it around until it comes together beautifully. The biscuit gives it the crunch. And the caramel makes it nice and sweet.
I'll trust you on that
Oh,
one.
it is gorgeous. Now, what I'm going to do is add 150 grams of melted butter. You can do it in the microwave or you can pop it in a pot. And I'm going to also add 3 tablespoons of golden syrup. And what I've done is just melted a little bit in the microwave.
How much do you want, Butterman?
Oh, 250 grams. Go the whole hog. Put every single bit in there. Now, I'm also going to add in 3/4 of a cup of desiccated coconut, which is important because that's what gives it lovely flavour. Half a cup of brown sugar goes in there as well. And I've got 1 cup of oats goes in here and 1 cup of plain flour. In it goes. And I've also got some baking powder. Now, you can see I've given you a tough job. You're going to be spending a lot of time whisking that around.
Wasn't it? This was a trick.
No, I wouldn't do anything like that to you,
Wow.
Rosie, would I? Just stir it around. I probably could have given you a bigger bowl, but you know what? I think you'll be kept quite busy with that.
Fine.
Now, you can see I've mixed this around nice and easily. This is a really simple biscuit recipe that you can make with the kids. And I'm going to grab some Glad Bake here and my tray. And you can see my tray, I've just put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil on it. It's because I want the Glad Bake to stick to it. So I grab it and then I get the Glad Bake, spread it out, and then pop it into the tray here like this. And by scrunching it up like that, it allows it to sit nice and easily.
Nice trick.
There's a little trick or a hack. You'd call it a hack, wouldn't you?
I'd call it a hack,
There we
I
go.
think.
Now, what I'm going to do, Rosie, is just pop the biscuit base straight into here. Now, this biscuit recipe is really, really simple. You could, if you wanted to, make it and then make it into little balls, pop it into the fridge or the freezer. If you've got people coming over for a cup of tea, you can pop this into the oven 15 minutes before they arrive, and then when they arrive, out comes some beautiful warm biscuits, and you look like a great cook.
No
Because
wonder you get so many visitors.
Exactly. What I'm going to do, Rosie, is pop this into the oven, 160 degrees Celsius. It'll take about 15 minutes, and I reckon it's going to take another 20 minutes or so for you to serve that round. But have a look, it's come together beautifully.
It is coming together.
Your fingers are all sticky, you got stuff all over you.
Right,
I'm going
messy.
to pop this into the oven, and then we'll get ready to put the next layer on. Rosie, have a look at that. 3 layers of deliciousness. I'm going to cut straight into it. Now, you know something like this is going to be pretty popular, but it's also going to be very, very rich. So this is something you can make a big slab of this, take it to school, take it to work, share it around with a lot of people, because you do not want to eat the whole thing of it because it will kill you very slowly.
This is a moderation. Yeah, my heart's already a little bit painful.
It is. I mean, this is something you have in the afternoon with a cup of tea to give you the energy to get all the way through. I'll cut that one through there like that. I'm going to pop a couple onto the plate here because they look nice and delicious.
They do look lovely.
There we go, that one.
Now cut me the tiniest little bit because I want to have a full mouthful, but it needs to be small.
You've got to be able to talk as well and tell me how delicious it is. I'll slice it through that way there, and I'm going to slice it through this way. Now, what do you think of that? It's pretty rich and chewy and...
I'm a little bit rendered speechless. So the caramel has sewed everything together.
You can feel the sugar level rising in your body and picking you up and taking you somewhere and ready for that big sugar crash.
I can take on anything. It tastes delicious, it really does, but it's decadent, it's naughty, it's indulgent. It's a moderation food, but a really good one.
Everything she said is correct.
Is there anything better than a creamy, wobbly panna cotta? Well, no, there isn't. That's the answer. But I don't want vegans and vegetarians to miss out. I'm going to show you how you can still enjoy your panna cotta with this recipe. Now, I have just a little bit of water, just cold water in here, into the pan. And I have some vegetarian gelatin here. Now, it works exactly the same. So I just have some scissors, cut the top off there, and we're just going to stir this in so that it dissolves into the cold water. That will only take a few minutes. Now, I'm going to use coconut milk today because that's going to make it nice, high in fat and vegan, which will make sure that we stay nice and full. So, in we go with the coconut milk in there. Oh, all that good stuff. Some almond milk as well here, about half a cup. You want to just start stirring, making sure that it's all nicely mixing together. Now, of course, we need to flavour it. So I have some lovely Madagascan premium vanilla extract here. Now, it's got a very strong taste, which is exactly what we want when we are dealing with higher fat recipes. So 1 teaspoon of that. And now our sweetness, so that we get it nice and sugar-free, as well as we have some maple syrup, grade A maple syrup, the good stuff from Canada. I'm putting about half a cup of this stuff there. I can already smell that coming up. So I just want to mix it. When it starts steaming, it's ready. So panna cotta, people think it's a tricky thing. It really isn't, and it takes no moment at all. Now that steam has started to come up, which is my cue that it is ready to go. So we'll bring this over. I'm just using these Dario molds here, which make it easier to flip and get it out. In we go. So we just want to pour it nice and evenly all the way to the top, which makes flipping a lot easier. Now we'll let these just cool down before we put them in the fridge. And then they'll go in the fridge, ideally overnight, so they really nicely set for a minimum of 4 hours. Fill this last one here, and you have on your hands a very easy vegan panna cotta. Just into some hot water to make sure that the sides just release that beautiful panna cotta. So onto your plate. Loosening a little, magic tap. Oh, perfect. Now, you could add a few little fancy things on there, but I actually think that's gorgeous, just as is. Oh, it's perfect consistency. So great if you're gonna have a dinner party and you just wanna quickly have something in the fridge that you can give everyone. Absolutely love it, and very, very impressive.
You know what, Rosie? After a frittata like that, we need something to sort of sweeten things up a bit. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
I mean, it's so healthy and so good for you and so much fibre in there. We need something to slow everything down and something to bring the energy back.
I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to regret it. I know that.
You will, but you'll love it. What I'm going to do, Rosie, is I'm going to make my Toblerone brownie. It's a really quick and easy bake. Now, what I've got are 2 types of butter here. Often when I bake, you need to put a bit of salt in it, even though it is a sweet thing. Salt brings out the flavour. But there's 2 types of butter. One is unsalted and salted. What I'm going to use is the unsalted, which is what we mostly use for pastry, if you want to put salt in it. So what I'm going to do is peel it back, and you can see the lusciousness, the goodness, that lovely butter there. That
you can tell a good butter, the colour-wise.
Oh, it's fantastic. And what I'm going to do is take my butter and pop it into the bain-marie. And the bain-marie will magically transform this butter into the beautiful flavour base that we need to make this Toblerone. Now, I've also got some dark chocolate here, and I know you love your dark chocolate. Plenty of
antioxidants.
That's the word. Antioxidants in there, which make it nice and tasty. But to sort of even it off again, we've got some Toblerone, because that's the secret of it. And you're probably wondering why I left it in the foil. Well, it's a pretty good reason, because in my house, when something like this comes out, if it's not left in the foil, these blocks get taken off very, very quickly. And what you find is you're only left with half a Toblerone. So I leave it in the foil so I know if anyone's been at it. However, My kids have become really clever. What they do now is they take the foil off it, eat it, and then they repackage it in aluminium foil, thinking that Dad is no wiser.
They're going to go far. They're going to go far in life.
They will go far, but they think they're so clever, but I invented that trick many years ago. Now, Rosie, here's a Toblerone. You want that? There we go. You can chew on that.
Later,
Save that for later on. Now, what we're going to do is get this melting away nice and gently. Now, that's going to take about 5 minutes, which is a good thing because the next stage of it is also going to take 5 minutes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 4 eggs here, and you can crack a couple of eggs in here as well. Okay, 4 eggs straight into the bowl here. We're going to whisk these eggs with some sugar to get a nice ribbon. And it takes a little while. We could use a mixer, but we're going to do it by hand because, as you're going to tell me, this is a lot of energy, so we need to be able to burn it off.
It is a lot of energy.
So what we're going to add is 4 whole eggs to 300 grams of caster sugar. I'll stir this around like this, and then what I'll do is I'll pass it to you, and you can stir it.
Give it a little go.
So we'll take plenty of time stirring it and whisking all that air into it.
So can I use coconut sugar?
You could use coconut sugar, but what you'll find is it'll go quite brown.
It will.
But whisking it together like that, and you can tell by the way you're whisking, it's going to take a long time. So keep going. That's it. Get stuck into
Into
it.
overdrive. Let's go.
I might just take a little break and just keep an eye on this chocolate while you're doing that. Okay, Rosie, the egg and sugar has been nice and light and fluffy, whisked up by hand. It's the only way to do it sometimes. Now, this is all ready to go. My chocolate's ready, and you can see it's melted beautifully. There's a few little chunks there from the Toblerone, and what I'm going to do is pour that straight in. Now,
It smells good.
It does smell good. Now, the trick with this is to don't pour it in while it's really hot. Let's let it cool for a couple of minutes. It's a lot easier to combine the whole lot together. The cocoa and the flour, if you can grab them and sift them into the bowl here. By sifting them, we remove all the little lumps and also any impurities that are in there, and it also makes it nice and light and fluffy, which is exactly how we want our Toblerone brownie to be, nice and light and fluffy. That's it. Give it a good whack. Get it all in there.
Wow.
Now,
no sign of your 5 a day here at all, and it's okay. That's fine.
This is sometimes food. This is what you have every now and again as a little sweet treat. If you want to go round to someone's house and you haven't been invited, make one of these and then knock on the door. There's no way they won't let you in. Now, Rosie, if you can grab that Toblerone and throw it into here, I'll just fold that through. Now, I'll just stir that around one last time. Perfect.
Wow.
If you can grab me the baking paper, what I'll do is I'll pop this little dish here, tear off me a nice big sheet. There we go, that's perfect. And what I'm going to do, Rosie, this is a little trick that I do. I scrunch it up like this and then open it. The reason I do this is you'll find that it sits a hell of a lot more evenly in the bottom. I just make
Bends around the corners very easily.
It does. It's a nice little trick there.
That one.
Now, what I'm going to do is grab this whole bowl and just put it straight into the bottom here. Now, of course, Rosie, you're probably looking here thinking, Richo, don't put it all into the tray because we want to eat some. Because during the cooking process, we're going to get hungry. We need something to eat, and we'll put that aside there. Now, this is going to go into the oven, Rosie. I like to cook it nice and low and slow, 160 degrees Celsius, and I'll cook it for about 45 minutes. Into the oven we go. Have a look at that, Rosie. It looks delicious. I'm not even going to take the glad bake off it. I'm just going to cut it straight on top there like that.
Wow.
Oh,
I need to look for the nearest defib machine somewhere.
The oxygen mask will come from the ceiling. Don't trust me on that one. Now, have a look at that. It looks gorgeous, nice and gooey and thick. Chunks of Toblerone in there.
Better have a go.
I'm just going to peel a bit off like that.
Wow, look at that.
That is delicious. That would have to be the best bake we've ever done, I would have to say. Wouldn't you agree with me?
Look, just don't tell any of my nutritionist friends what happened here, but that's really delicious. But please, once a year, Adrian, once a year for this one.
Your secret's safe with me. I've got a really quick and clever way of using kataifi pastry to make a dessert. And the trick with using kataifi pastry is to take it out of the fridge and let it come up to room temperature. And look, it just comes apart really, really easily. It's a good idea to have a pair of scissors on hand because you want to cut it into smaller pieces. It'll make it a lot easier to work with. I'll pop this over here. Now, if you're worried about the kataifi drying out, just cover it with a damp cloth and it'll hold for ages. Now, this strip here, I'll pull apart very carefully. It's very tightly strung, so if you just take a minute to pull it apart, it'll make it really nice and flaky. I mean, if you really want to get funny, you can make a little Santa Claus beard if you want, but we won't worry about that. Now, when you've pulled it apart like this, and just make sure it's nice and fine, I'll get some pistachio nuts and sprinkle a bit of pistachio on top of it. And then with a pastry brush, I'll drizzle some butter over the top of it. It's butter that fries the pastry and makes it nice and crisp, and also help it to stick together. Now, to give it some sweetness, I've got some honey and a little drizzle of honey around the outside with a pastry brush. You could, of course, use sugar if you want, but I love the flavour of honey. Now, once you've got that ready like this, I'll get some of these metal cups. Now, these are safe to go in the oven and they're really, really easy to use. You could use porcelain cups if you want, or whatever shape you've got. I start with the base here and then wind it around, all the way around like this till it becomes nice and tight and packed. And then make sure it's just flattened on the top there. Give it a little squeeze like that to pack it all together. Now, I've got a few more to make, and once I've made them all, I'm going to pop them into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. They'll go nice and golden, crisp right up, and then I'll fill them with a lovely ricotta filling. These will be delicious. Now, once you've made your kataifi baskets, what I like to do is, of course, make something to go in them. I've got some cottage cheese and a little bit of sour cream in a bowl here. Now, to flavour it up, I'm going to use some orange zest. A good bit of orange zest in there, give it a great flavour. Tap like that, and it's quite strong, so it'll go all the way through it. And to sweeten it up, of course, some honey. I love honey. It's my favourite sweetener in the entire world. And some icing sugar. I'll put about a quarter of a cup of icing sugar in there as well and stir that around. Just stir it around till it's all combined nicely. Now, usually I would have this done well before the kataifi comes out, but, you know, I was in a bit of a rush. I wanted to get it all going. Now, with a whisk, I give it a good whisk like this, and that should take most of the lumps out of it. We go like that. 1, 2, 3, and it's ready to go. Tastes delicious. I'll give you a little tip here, is I take a little bit of the filling and pop it on the bottom there. And then the case goes on top. Now, you can put anything in here. Ice cream is delicious as well, but I'll pop the filling into the middle here. Pop it in fairly carefully so I don't spill it everywhere, but it's okay if you spill a little bit on the side. Perfect amount in the bottom there. I've got some peaches that I've sliced already. Pop them into the top there like that, and then a few bits of mint just to make it nice and delicious. A sprinkle of icing sugar, a little bit of pistachio on the top. And you know what? While I'm here, why not put some orange as well? Just a little bit of orange zest. That's a great little dessert, easy to make, and everyone will love it. Rosie, you know when you get those times where you've got to make a cake, you just don't have the time, so you've got to go to the shop. This is a great way of using those shop-bought ingredients and making something that's actually quite nice.
Yep.
It's great if you've got the day before to put it in the freezer and let it set, this ice cream cake sandwich. But, you know, it's a great one, an easy one to make. It starts with some strawberries, because what we'll do is we'll stew these strawberries and get a nice little
Ooh, lovely.
compote, which is a nice French and fancy way of saying it. Just need to take the lid off like that, pour them onto the board. I like tipping it onto the board like this because then you can sort of go through them nice and easily, and it's a good way to check the berries as well. So I just take the green part out like this and slice them in half, and that's all you need to do.
Didn't you have somebody who said that you could only do it a certain way as well?
Well, when I was a young lad, a young whippersnapper in kitchens, we would have to hull the strawberries. So with a little paring knife, we just grab the knife and turn it around and just remove the green part, and you leave that little hole in the centre of it like that.
And I must admit, it does look nice, but it's a bit time-consuming, isn't it?
Takes forever, and it's a great thing to do to a young apprentice who's been very...
They were testing you, for sure.
Exactly, very cheeky. That's what you would get them to do. Now, we've got 2 punnets of strawberries, so if you buy the small punnets, maybe 4 punnets of strawberries would be enough. So I'll put my pan on here, and then the strawberries go straight into the pan. And to that, I'll add about half a cup of caster sugar. In they go, Rosie.
Lovely.
You liking that?
Smells like Wimbledon, doesn't it? Ooh.
It does. It's better than the garlic smell we usually have on our hands. On goes the lid. If you want, you can stir it a little bit with a wooden spoon. But, you know, a couple of minutes on that low heat and the strawberries will start to soften up. But I've got a sponge here, Rosie, and I want to show you a little trick. This has got some baking paper on the bottom, and you look at it and think, oh, you know, we'll just stack it up like that. But you can actually cut it in half. And what I do to cut in half is I just hold the knife on one level and just move it a little bit and then slide the cake around. And as I slice the cake around, I just push it a little bit towards the centre. And that way you get even slices on both sides.
The worst thing is when you see a little bit of a knife pop through, isn't it? You want to make sure you get it all the way through.
There's a good trick to it. So we'll just pop that there and just check the strawberries. They're looking good.
Yeah.
Now we've got to check the ice cream. I've got some store-bought Jalista, which is delicious. I love it. And the trick with it is to take the top off, and you've got to check it, Rosie.
Oh, okay.
It's really important while we're waiting for the strawberries to heat up and cool
Head
down.
gelati checker.
Well, you know, this was one of my first jobs in a kitchen, was making ice cream. I love ice cream. I still make ice cream today, nice and fresh, but I like to check it every single time to make sure it's delicious.
That's a dangerous habit to have. Now, that's dairy-free. That is delicious. That tastes just like normal ice cream, but that's dairy-free gelati.
Rosie, we have to try this one.
This is great being head gelati taster.
It's hard work, isn't it? I'll tell you what, we'll finish tasting these ice cream, make sure it's all at the right temperature and the right flavour, and then we'll sort these strawberries out.
I like it.
Now the berries have cooled down a little bit. One of the reasons I cook the strawberries in the sugar is because the sugar doesn't freeze. So that'll help to keep the berries nice and soft, but not icy. Really important.
Nice.
Now the sponge is ready to go, and I've got my cake tin already lined. Now the trick is to pop the cake down the bottom there, make sure it's pushed down nice and evenly. Now this part, Rosie, I grab some of the syrup in the spoon there and just drizzle that around like that.
Soak it up.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Soak it up.
Oh, I love that. And make sure that it soaks into that sauce there. Now, if you want to use some brandy or that sort of thing, you can do that, but we'll keep this kid-friendly. Now, this is the fun part, Rosie. We take some ice cream.
Yeah.
I'll just take one of them and I'll get a big spoon and just let the ice cream soften on the bench for about 10 minutes or so, or depending on what part of the world you're in, it might be 10 seconds. And you just sort of chop it up a little bit and that'll make it smooth out nice and evenly. Now, once I've got it mostly to the edge there, all the way around, I'll grab some of the berries and pop them on top there like that. Just a little bit splattered around, and then we can grab some of the spoon
You're trying
there.
to kill me again, aren't you?
Very slowly, but what
I'm going back into therapy, aren't I?
You will need a lot of therapy after this, but what a way to go, Rosie. You'd have to admit this is a fantastic little way of using ice cream, making something really quick.
Oh, I love gelati.
Spoon it on.
I really do. On we go.
I was thinking, why should I have all the fun? I should be able to share it around. And it's okay if it's a little bit melted like that because it's all going to be refrozen again.
Sometimes with you, Rich, I feel like if you can't beat them, join them.
Well, as some people do, they just give up. So just get in with it, get involved. Okay, grab the last one there, Rosie.
Yes.
We'll spoon that on. That's the peanut butter
Here we
swirl.
go again.
You know that's going to hurt you, don't you?
Groundhog Day
Oh,
with
my
gelati.
goodness.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it great?
It's
I love
great.
it. And you've got the that beautiful gelati, and then you've got all the strawberries and the syrup that'll go and soak it all up. I'll put the last lot onto it like that. And then with the spoon, I just stir it a little bit so it goes in. You're almost in tears now, aren't you, Rosie?
A little bit, yeah.
You're feeling
Yeah.
it? Oh, lovely.
I'm going to need to call someone after this.
Yes. Now I'll just peel this baking paper off and then just grab this little baby here. And then it's a matter of just popping it inside the baking paper and just pushing it down so that it sits nice and firm. I like to put a little bit of pressure on it, not too much because you'll be just squeezing it out everywhere. A little bit of pressure to make sure you get most of the air bubbles out of it, and voila, we're ready to go.
I can't lie, I'm actually quite excited to see that. I know there's going to be a bit of marbling, so that's what a celebration cake's supposed to do, is get you excited, and it's certainly done that.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to get excited about this. You tidy up this mess. I'll pop this in the freezer, and then we'll let it freeze and harden, then we'll tuck into it. All right, Rosie, that's why we like spring-form tins. And also, another reason we like baking paper. Look at that.
The big reveal.
Oh, my goodness. But it doesn't look as good there. It looks impressive, I know.
Oh, that is impressive.
It's pretty good. Take the bottom off there. And I've got some raspberries here. I'll just get some of the raspberries into this bowl here. You've got some icing sugar. Put some icing sugar into the bowl.
Yeah.
And just stir it around with a spoon till it comes together. The icing sugar makes it nice and soft. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to reach across the top of you and grab the knife. And a little pro tip is to pop the knife into a jug or run it under hot water, and it will cut through the ice cream a lot easier. Now, another thing I like to do is cut all the way through. A nice, strong knife will be able to handle the ice cream all the way down there.
You're a strong person to cut it, don't you?
You do. I mean, it's frozen, so you need to be careful and just cut through nice and evenly like that. That's come apart beautifully. And I'll just show you what it looks like. It looks great, doesn't it?
That looks phenomenal.
All those layers there. We've got the sponge, we've got the berry, we've got the gelato.
All the different flavours of gelati in there.
Exactly. And I'll just pop the knife straight back in there again, just for a second. And then I'll cut a wedge like a regular cake, straight through the middle there like that. And down we go. And then it's just a matter of picking that up and see how easy it is to hold like that.
Yeah.
Pretty big looking cake. Onto the plate it goes. And you're thinking it's just a regular ice cream cake, but not as we know it. We're going to fix it up, Rosie, and make it even more delicious and luscious. On goes some double cream. The look of horror on your face, Rosie, says it all.
Someone's reached 100 years old, haven't
there we
they?
go. Just slowing right down.
Because you can only do this once in your life, I think, this sort of thing.
We have sometimes food and we have one times food. And I think in your life, this needs to be one times.
Yeah.
Pass me the mint, Rosie.
Got it.
And we'll put a couple of nice little leaves of mint
That
on
looks
there.
gorgeous like that.
It does, doesn't it? Nice, fancy sort of dish, and you can grab some of the mint leaves and pop them on like that, and then spread it all around. And then, Rosie, you know I love it. Grab the icing sugar. I'm going to do my last little favourite bit. Just tap it over the top like that, nice and slowly.
Trying to push me over the edge, aren't you?
Yes, I'm pushing you way over the edge. What do you think of that?
I think it's gorgeous.
All right, I'll just take this little piece off here. Oh, look at that. That looks great. A little bit of the cream as well and the berries.
Well, you're lucky I don't have a brain freeze because that's still pretty cold. It's absolutely delicious, but Richard, this has to be a sometimes dish.
One times for sure.
Yeah.